Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, we take a look at damage done by historic flooding in Wisconsin. And we learn more about the CDC shooter, what motivated him, and the details. Plus, we learn what the president's plan is to crack down on crime in the nation's capital.
And it's August, you know what that means. That means it's still plenty summertime hot out there for the next several days. But on top of that, the silver lining is we'll have rain chances daily. We'll keep all that in the weather coming up.
Good morning, Crossroads. Coming up after the break, Crossroads Sports kicks off strong with Goliad High School making waves at the Victoria Relays in cross country. Don't miss it.
And you're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and happy Monday morning. It's the week of the first day of school.
That's right.
The first day is on Wednesday, so hopefully you've gotten your meal prepping done, you've picked out your outfits, you got your school supplies.
That's right. You got your school day routine all ready to go.
And we also have CFL to look forward to.
That's
football
right.
season. A lot of fun there.
That's right. Definitely tune in for that. But for this morning, it's a brand new week. Monday, you're looking live in Victoria. You can probably take a guess what the weather's like outside. Just step outside for just a second. Why don't you? 73 is what we're sitting at right now this morning. In Victoria, dew point 1 degree off at 72, bringing the humidity to 96%. So what I'm trying to say, it's another humid morning. But if you looked before I hit the current conditions up, you can see in the background, that right there is a tall little thunderstorm cloud that is rummaging around our southeastern counties this morning. You can see it's going to be this one right here, this little complex of showers and weak non-severe thunderstorms just southwest of Bay City this morning. But all the rest of the rain activity you can see happening in our southeastern counties, mainly Matagorda County, maybe technically happening a little bit around Calhoun County. Not really, looks like not too much anymore, but just a few scattered showers, non-severe thunderstorms happening around Matagorda County this morning. Also up near the Houston area as well. If I zoom out, I guess it's not there anymore, but it was there about like 20 minutes ago. So if you're heading that way, we do have a little bit of rain on the roads this morning. Just be careful if you see any of that. And also this afternoon, because we're going to have another rain chance with this mid-level low pressure system. You can kind of see spinning up on satellite kind of clockwise. Clouds are from north to south up here and south to north down here. But if you're headed out the door, maybe grab the umbrella because I think we have rain chances today. We'll have all those details coming up next.
Breaking this morning, Colombian Senator and presidential hopeful Miguel Uribe Turbay has died more than 2 months after being shot in Bogota. We'll have more on our website, crossroadstoday.com, as the story develops. Southeast Wisconsin experienced historic rainfall over the weekend. In Milwaukee and Waukesha counties, several inches of rain fell in only a short period of time between Saturday night and Sunday morning. Thousands were left without power, streets became waterways, and basements flooded across the region. Several events were also forced to shut down, including the Wisconsin State Fair. The early closure Saturday night was also meant canceling the night's music headliner, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Investigators are getting a clearer picture of the man who opened fire outside of the Centers for Disease Control headquarters in Atlanta on Friday, killing a police officer. A neighbor tells news sources that the suspected shooter, identified as Patrick Joseph White, had expressed anti-vaccine sentiments to her, and White believed the COVID vaccine made him sick. A law enforcement official tells the Associated Press that the shooter blamed the COVID-19 vaccine for making him depressed and suicidal. That official, speaking on condition of anonymity, says the shooter tried to get into the CDC's headquarters, but was stopped by guards before driving to a pharmacy across the street and opening fire. Authorities haven't yet said whether the shooter was killed by police or took his own life. 33-year-old DeKalb County police officer David Rose was killed while responding to the shooting and leaves behind a pregnant wife and 2 children. The U.S. military is preparing for part of the Washington, D.C. National Guard to be deployed to the nation's capital. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details.
This morning, President Trump is set to unveil his plan to crack down on crime in the nation's capital. The president posting he will essentially stop violent crime in Washington, saying, quote, "Before the tense squalor, filth, and crime, it was the most beautiful capital in the world. It will soon be that again." Trump posting, "The homeless have to move out immediately. We will give you places to stay, but far from the Capitol." Trump has suggested in the past that the federal government should take over the city and threatened to have the feds step in after a former worker for Elon Musk's Doge Group was assaulted during an attempted carjacking last week.
We have a Capitol that's very unsafe. We're going to do something about it.
Over the weekend, more than 100 federal agents were deployed across D.C. in a massive anti-carjacking operation. Trump also suggesting trying young teenagers as young as 14 as adults. City police are now enforcing an 8 p.m. juvenile curfew in parts of the city after a teenager opened fire at a park in the Navy Yard district. Despite recent high-profile events, officials in D.C. say crime is actually down more than 25% from last year.
If the priority is to show force in an American city, we know he can do that here. But it won't be because there's a spike in crime.
Still, the president has suggested sending the National Guard into the Capitol. It comes as a lawsuit goes to court today over Trump's deployment of the National Guard in California to control immigration protests in June. Governor Gavin Newsom suing, saying state officials did not want or need federal interference. Trump's lawyers say the troops were only protecting federal property and personnel, not engaging in law enforcement activities. Of course, the big difference between California and Washington, D.C. is that D.C. is a federal district. The D.C. National Guard is under control of the president. Now, again, we're expecting Trump to lay out his plans at 10 a.m. Eastern this morning. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Victoria Mayor Dwayne Crocker and City Council members will hold a special meeting Wednesday to provide updates on the water system. It will start at 6 p.m. at 107 West Wallen Street. The focus will be on the work of a subcommittee reviewing the city's water system after a boil water notice in July. The public is invited to address the City Council during the citizens communication portion of that meeting. And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We want to know, do you plan to attend the City of Victoria special meeting? All right, let's take a look. 25% of you say yes, and 75% of you say no. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. Victoria ISD staff will see another round of pay raises next school year, but higher insurance costs could eat into that increase. The Board of Trustees approved the new compensation plan at last week's meeting. Starting teacher pay will rise to $50,000, with raises ranging from $1,500 to $5,000 based on experience. Other staff, including paraprofessionals and bus drivers, will also see a bump. At the same time, employee insurance premiums are climbing nearly 10% statewide, and the district isn't increasing its contribution to cover the higher cost. The district is also proposing to hold the tax rate steady at 80.35 cents per $100 of valuation. A public hearing on the tax rate is scheduled for August 28th. Remember, follow us on YouTube, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. The time now, let's get a look at our clock. It is 6:39 on our Monday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. We take a look at an event that is encouraging seeking a higher education.
President Trump prepares to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska this week. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington with details on the high-stakes summit and what European leaders are demanding from the president.
And also coming up next after the break in the short-term forecast, you heard me say we have another chance for rain today. So coming up next, I'll tell you just when I think that rain will get here. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Monday. It's a brand new week, and guess what? We still have rain to talk about out there, because looking at your radar, you can see we still have just a few scattered showers, a couple of non-severe weak thunderstorms happening in our southeastern counties this morning. Talking about y'all around Matagorda County, a little bit up near Wharton County as well, really just north of Wharton. but mainly we're talking about everybody in Matagorda County. I'm actually going to step out of the way so you can see where all the rain is this morning. Talking about just west of Bay City, about 15-20 miles away. We've got a little shower complex your way. You also have a little bit of it forming southeast of Bay City, some about 10-20 miles away from y'all as well. All that is heading northward at about 10 to 20 miles an hour. So get ready for that if that's coming your way. Otherwise, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and I'd say everybody, maybe go ahead and grab your umbrella for today because I've got chances at 30%. Timing all that out, and the morning hours on the coast. We're talking Refugio County, Aransas County, Calhoun County, Matagorda County. Y'all might have a 20% chance to see maybe a few spotty showers in the morning time. But as we go into the afternoon time with daytime heating commencing underneath those mostly sunny skies, you can see everybody's going to be looking mostly sunny, just a few passing clouds. But the daytime heating will kick in, and that's when we're going to see a few more showers starting to form after noon, maybe after 1 p.m. You can see in Highway 59 counties and southward towards the coast. That's where it'll start forming, maybe a little bit in our inland counties, but a lesser rain chance before all of that cuts off after 5 or 6 p.m. And if you don't see rain today, it's going to be a pretty sunny one out there like you just saw. It's going to heat us up to about 97 here in Victoria. Looking at your almanac, that's a degree above where we're supposed to be this time of year, 96, and 7 degrees below our record set in 2015, 10 years ago, 104. But over the next few days, we're going to stay a little bit hot, highs sticking in the upper 90s, but the rain chances will stick at 20% until this weekend. We'll look at what that's about and the tropics coming up next.
Volleyball and football aren't just the only sports that kicks off the academic school year for our Crossroads athletes. It's also time for cross country to get underway as well. And Goliad High School looks to be a triple threat in all of those sports previously mentioned. Just recently, the team competed here in Victoria as a part of the Victoria Relays. This was an untimed race to help the runners shake off some off-season rust, but that didn't stop them from having 2 medalists in the event. In the varsity race, Gabe and Austin placed 7th. And Jaden finished 2nd in his JV race as a freshman. So a big congratulations to those upcoming runners. And make sure you stay tuned on KAVU 25 News Now for more updates regarding Goliads in football and volleyball and cross country. But that does it for your 25 News Now sports. Until next time, I'm Ray Robinson.
We want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can stream our daily newscast and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Search for Crossroads Today Plus. Now to the latest on the high-stakes summit between President Trump and Vladimir Putin scheduled for later this week. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details.
This morning, President Trump is preparing for a historic summit with Vladimir Putin on American soil, as questions remain about whether Ukraine's President Zelensky will attend. President Trump announcing the two leaders plan to meet in Alaska this Friday. It comes as European leaders warn the path to peace in Ukraine cannot be decided without Ukraine. The U.S. ambassador to NATO saying Ukraine's participation in the summit is possible.
There can't be a deal that everybody that's involved in it doesn't agree to. And, obviously it's a high priority to get this war to end.
But Zelensky defiant, saying, quote, there is not a single real step from Russia towards peace. That is why sanctions are needed. Senator Lindsey Graham described what that peace deal could potentially look like.
You'll have some land swaps, but only after you have security guarantees to Ukraine to prevent Russia from doing this again. You need to tell Putin what happens if he does it a third time.
The timing striking. Trump announced the summit on the deadline day he's set to impose tough new sanctions on Russia if Putin didn't stop the fighting. But now Putin will visit the U.S. for the first time in nearly a decade without facing sanctions or committing to a ceasefire.
What is going to be the outcome of this? And the person who has to ask the most is, of course, President Zelensky, who is already sounding alarm bells in his commentary saying, look, nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. We're not going to necessarily accept anything you decide about us. So he's clearly worried.
The last time Alaska hosted a high-stakes diplomatic gathering was in March of 2021. That is when senior officials with former President Joe Biden met with top Chinese officials in Anchorage. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Victoria College opened its doors for Super Saturday, a one-stop event aimed at helping students get set for the upcoming semester. Students had the chance to take care of nearly every step in the enrollment process all in one day. They met with advisors to map out their educational plans. They applied for admission and financial aid, registered for classes, made payments, and even purchased books and supplies. The VC Library was also open, giving students a chance to explore study resources ahead of the semester.
Students are able to complete their admissions application, FAFSA application, pay their tuition, meet with their advisor. The bookstore's open too. It's tax-free weekend, so some items will qualify for that.
Advisors share details about a variety of opportunities, from degree and certificate programs to transfer pathways, job training courses, and adult education options. Victoria College says events like Super Saturday make it easier for students to start and stay on track toward their goals. The time now, let's get a look at our clock up here. It's 6:47 on our Monday morning. Still to come on Sunrise, we take a look back at a chilling murder case. All right, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Sending birthday wishes to our sweet Lila. Happy 9th birthday. We love you. From Pops, Yaya, Theos, Brick, Jake, Aslan, Popo, and Nanny.
Oh, happy birthday, Lila. And also happy birthday to James. Happy birthday, James, and enjoy your big day.
And happy birthday to Chris Hemsworth. Hope your day is as legendary as Thor's hammer.
Oh, that's right. Happy birthday to Thor himself. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, you can come to crossroadstoday.com. Just click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
All right, the time is now 6:48 on our Monday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today, or maybe you got to celebrate over the weekend.
That's right. Happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw this 7 a few seconds ago, and you saw the rain chances. They're going to be nice to us all week long at a nice 20% for maybe some spotty showers forming out in the afternoon hours. Temperatures, you can see, they're not going to be so nice to us. They'll stick in the upper 90s all week underneath the mostly sunny skies if you don't see the rain. But then as we go into the weekend time, what's this? The chances are up to 30 and 40%. What's that all about? Well, it's going to be coming from the tropics, and there's good news in that. The good news is that whatever comes our way, it's not going to form into like a tropical depression or a storm or a hurricane for that matter, so let's not worry about that. What's coming our way, it's going to be this right here. You can kind of see it on satellite just north of the coast of Panama, and also I guess north of the South American coast. We have a little bit of thunderstorm activity you can see kind of forming right around this area. Over time, computer models take this little complex of thunderstorm and track it northwestward over the Caribbean and into the Gulf by later this week, and keeping together. So that means that it's going to hold its strength in terms of moisture, but it's not going to turn into anything. So we don't have to worry about that. But in the Atlantic, that's a different story. We still have to worry about this tropical wave. We've been talking about it all week long last week. But actually, since y'all last saw me on Friday, chances for development have went from 9% to 90% over the next 3 days. We are very likely going to be looking at Hurricane Tropical Storm Erin forming in the deep Atlantic and then heading northward into the deep Atlantic. And we're going to watch this one right here over the next couple of weeks, and we'll look at more coming up later on Sunrise.
We've been following the Blake Downs case for years, and now new updates are coming in. 25 News Now reporter and weekend anchor Trenton Whiting has the latest.
Garcia, Don Brubaker has the night off. Blake Downs is now a convicted killer.
On April 9th, 2022, Blake Michael Downs shot and killed 19-year-old Cohen Borm here at Downs' home in Port Lavaca. The night started with some drinks and a card game, a combination prosecutors say often led to aggression from Downs. But on this night, it turned into violence. Downs used a gun he had with him to shoot Borm, who died on the scene. When police arrived at 8:30 in the morning, Downs immediately confessed to the crime. But that didn't stop Downs from meeting bond and spending the next 2 years out of jail while waiting for court proceedings. During that time, the community made their feelings known, some expressing frustration at his freedom and anxiously waiting for the court proceedings. Jury was selected on Monday, July 29, 2024. By the following Wednesday, Downs was given a 30-year sentence with parole eligibility at 15 years. He is now in the Joe Ney State Jail in Hondo, where he'll serve his sentence. Trenton Whiting, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. Some Victoria residents say fading road markings are making it more dangerous to drive in certain parts of the city. Some Victoria residents say fading road markings are making it harder and sometimes more dangerous to drive in certain parts of the city. From Airline Road to Navarro Street and Sam Houston Drive, neighbors say lane lines and other road markings have worn down so much they're barely visible. One resident told us it can be especially confusing at night or in bad weather when drivers rely on those markings to stay in their lane and navigate turns safely. She says the issue has been ongoing for months and hopes the city will prioritize repainting the lines to prevent crashes.
But I've made turns that thank goodness there wasn't cars coming, because I couldn't see to get in the right lane or to get in the right lane to turn. And I was born here, so I'm very familiar with the town, and that helps, of course. But if you want to drive safely, it applies to all people of all ages, and my concern is for everybody, not just one age group.
City officials say they plan to look into the problem and will get back to us today with more information. Victoria College trustees are scheduled to hold a public hearing on the board's proposed 2025 tax rate. It'll take place during a special board meeting starting at 4 this afternoon inside of room 101 on the campus and inside the academic building on the BC campus. They will also consider the operating budget for the next year, as well as the purchase of dissection anatomy tables and elevator maintenance services. And if you have jury duty this morning, it is canceled at the Victoria County Courthouse. And now let's go ahead and get a look at our forecast with Parker. How's it looking, Parker?
Well, Carolina, we have a nice pretty sunrise coming over the coast this morning. Even in Victoria, got some nice pretty colors out there. Starting out the day nice and warm and humid like we usually do. 73 is our current temperature, dew point 72. But we do still have a few showers happening out there. We're really talking about our southeastern counties. Matagorda County, a little bit important county as well. So if you've got any of that coming your way, get that umbrella out. But I'm going to go ahead and say everybody get your umbrella out today, because we got chances at 30%, mainly for the afternoon time. We'll see a few isolated thunderstorms, scattered showers happening. 96 for the high in Port Lavaca, and the same timing in Victoria, but a bit warmer today, 97. And if that's not warm enough for you, we're going to stay hot just like that all week long. Highs in the upper 90s with rain chances sticking at that nice 20% until they're up to 40 and 30% for the weekend.
All right, bring on the rain.
Thank
you, Parker.
Right.
And thank y'all for being with us. Be sure to join Shana Dawn McClevey and Max today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.